Hey there, Jackson. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you showing up. Hi, Gil Clayton. Thanks for popping in. Sorry, just me poking. Just still setting up like one or two things here. Just should take about 1 or 2 minutes. But thank you all for popping in. Appreciate you coming out tonight. Let me see. Okay. Yes. That is too loud. Okay. Hi guys. Speedbag Bard. I see y'all just tuning in. Just doing one or two little setups here there. I should be ready to hit in about 2 or 3 minutes. Give me a little bit. Thank you guys. Jackson, got a question. Yes, feel free to ask. What do you got, my man? Any word on Fade to Black by Metallica? It's funny you asked that because I will. Here we go. That's actually the first song I'm gonna be playing for you guys tonight. I think it'll be easier for me to explain it when I just show you. The short answer is there's still a lot of work to do, but let's see, show you what I have. well, yeah, that was Fade to Black My Metallica. Sorry, I'm gonna catch up to your comments 1 second here. Okay, yeah, so I'm caught up on your comments here, Jackson. Dude, that's actually insane. Thank you, that's very kind of you. So, here's the way that I kind of cycle through songs. So, like, usually, imagine, this will be a little bit of funny imagery, but imagine like a witch, like, has a huge cauldron or a pot in front of her, and she's like stewing it. Or the more common analogy is just imagine a chef like has a big pot and he's like stewing a huge pot of like soup, curry, or something that's like, very liquidy but has a lot of ingredients tossed in it. I kind of have a similar manner in how I process and practice songs, and then also kind of think of the choreography for it. So let me explain what my thought process is for Fade to Black. So for me, when translating the amount of intensity that I need to have, there's like two distinct sections. The very first part, which is a bit more minimal, is a bit more bare bones, but it has to be delicate here, but like not wimpy. So that's a little bit of a consideration that I have to do. So that's why the very first part of that Fade to Black song, I kind of played it a little bit more lower key, a little bit gentler. And then, of course, the second part is where the instrumentals kind of come in. I'm mansplaining a little bit, I know, but the challenge with the second part is trying to, one, match the intensity of the song with all the instrumentals that's going in, but two, not to overdo it and then like completely flood out and drown out the other instrumentals. So that's where the puzzle solving, the Tetris solving kind of comes into play, because I need to figure out and tone in not only the types of combinations I do. Some combinations are a bit better for certain, I guess, like intensities and like just orientating the next strike, but also just the delicacy in which how to make it sound to where it complements the song. So the TLDR is it's not quite ready yet. I'm not completely satisfied with uploading a full version of it, but I do appreciate your compliment for it, Jackson. I know you've been asking for this for a while, and I know that there are quite a few songs that my viewers asked for, and I do sometimes feel a little bad that it's, it almost feels like to you guys it's radio silence, but for me it's taking a little bit longer to cook in that little pot of ideas that I have. So I'm really appreciative of you guys' patience. And I'm also thankful that I'm able to kind of stew on it and see if the flavor can improve going forward. So yeah, last part is definitely harder, makes sense, yes. And taking your time to perfect it. So yeah, it's yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. Let's see, there's another song I want to do here. Yeah. So this one was another requested one. It's called Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, that's Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Chain right there. Catching up on comments. Imagine you come across Stumble boxing and Ozzy at the same time. Crazy Chain. I think people would definitely be happy with that as is. Thank you. Yeah, I think that one's a little close too. There's just a couple of things I want to clean up a little bit rhythmically there. So at least with I think the intensity is right for like the more kind of energetic portions of it, but I just need to be a little bit more mindful when it, either they break down, cut the instrumentals a little bit and come pull back, or if they do something a little bit different. Because the situation I run into with these types of songs, or at least with this amount of intensity, is that it's very tempting for me to kind of do a very basic, almost like a rudimentary pattern throughout the whole song, which it is satisfactory, but I find it just to be a little bit lazy. So that's why I try to do some things, even if they sound the same, the visuals, the types of combinations I weave in, I try to make it a little bit different. So visually it's a little bit more appealing. So yeah. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm Korean. Christopher Cooper, I'm Korean. Yeah, so that's a funny story is I'm an Asian guy, and just to make things a little clearer, I've hung up a flag, so it's just to make it a little bit easier. So yeah. Let me see what is another good song that all right, yeah, so this is a song, let's see. I've been liking this song a lot, called Black Betty. This is the version performed by Spiderbait here. Volume's a little low. Let me turn it up. Okay. Yeah. So, couple things I'll talk about as far as, let me just take a, use as a little bit of a breather. Reading comments too. Uh, so again, say, Hungmin's on. I'm not sure. May not have listened to him too much. Mount Orwell from This Is Insane. Thank you. Thank you, Sporex. Mr. Sheesh. Jackson. What the hell did I just watch? This is a punch drumming or speed bagging. So Bible style speed bagging. GG's. Nice song. Thank you. Next one is Drowning Pool. Yes. Yes, it is. But before I do that, since I know that song is kind of crazy in terms of intensity, I'm gonna take a little bit of breathing break, but also talk a little bit more about the lore of the speed bag a little bit, and more in terms of like the evolution of my setup. So, so let me preface this. My setup currently right now is like very, very tailored and customized for just like creating a video format and uploading it so people can just watch it at a later time. My setup right now is not that great for kind of a live streaming situation, and for that I'm very grateful that you guys are poking in, because one, there's a, this is my garage. It's not sound treated. It gets pretty hot too, so it's, you know, the temperature wise is not exactly the most comfortable to do for long streaming hours. Soundproofing issues aside, of course, and then, you know, ambient noises too. That kind of limits, and that in my own schedule too. This really limits the amount of time that I can realistically stream for like a good chunk of time. Because ideally, I want to stream at a time when there's not many cars zipping through my neighborhood. The lighting's okay, and the neighborhood's relatively quiet, but also not too late to where I'm just being an absolute jerk to my neighbor, right? I have to be considered. So this frame here is, this is pretty much a freestanding platform. This is a lot of 2x4s, a lot of the Simpson style fittings. You can, most of these like parts I got from Home Depot, and assembled it with the help of a neighbor. The advantage of this not being mounted to the wall itself, as most traditional speedback platforms are, is that all this impact, all this vibration doesn't feed into the wall. And, you know, that overall keeps the house a lot quieter since it doesn't echo throughout the house, and it keeps it mostly contained within this frame. The downside is this holds a lot of vibration from each of those hits, so I have to find ways to dampen or at least reduce the amount of vibrations. So I'm not a woodworker. I know I need to cross brace these, but I just frankly haven't had the time or, you know, the brain power to do it myself correctly. But I have compensated with putting a lot of weight on top of it. So there's just like a wooden table here, and then there's just a heck of a lot of sand here. I think I've got about 240 pounds or 460-pound bags on top of it just to keep it mounted down. This reduces the vibration a lot. And in fact, if any of you ever hit on a speedback platform and you find that it wiggles a little too much, just put a 25-pound weight on top or a sandbag, and you'll notice that it's much more responsive. Sorry, reading comments too. Sneak peek, not time for it. I have to send you 10. That was insane, Chris. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate you. Yeah. So the next one is drowning pools, and then of course my gear has evolved a little bit in terms of video recording. So previously, I used to just to do this. I used to play. This is the Bluetooth speaker that's responsible for the music that you guys are hearing. I've got this, you know, Bluetooth it over to a different piece of gear that'll stream the songs, right? And then I'm hitting the Speedbag live in footage with that. The advantage is it's very easy to set up, right? The downside is that you're gonna hear a lot of the echoes, you're gonna hear a lot of the reverb, and then of course if there's any ambient noises such as, say, my water heater turns up, you're going to hear that. So, and that's, if I got the right gear for live streaming, I can kind of mitigate that, like a streaming overlay, but that's a topic for another time. The only major improvements that I made to my recording process as far as uploading videos is I've gotten a microphone and then an audio interface and a computer to pretty much record the Speedbag footage on its own, and then I just clean it up a little bit and then overlay it on top of the song, so it's a much cleaner presentation. So there's always a little bit of room for improvement, and it's just as my craft gets better, I'll find other ways to make the user experience, your viewing experience, much better for this, but it'll just take time, and I appreciate the process and patience with you guys. So enough gab, let's do the next song by Drowning Pool called Bodies.
Bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the
Flip the ending. That's alright, that's okay. Okay, no, I'm not doing Enter Sandman. I already did that song, so that's enough for me. Okay. About time for a new Speedbag. Perfect. Play Despacito, bro, it's fine, your skills are insane. Okay. I will actually play Despacito. Let me talk about the Speedbag a little bit. So I've had this one for about less than 6 months, I would say. So the good thing about this Speedbag that I really like is it's extremely soft. The size of it too, it's got the thick, the width of a traditional 6x9 speed bag that most boxing stores, gyms, outlets carry. But this one is a little bit special in that the top neck portion of it, about an inch or so, is cut off from the top, making the length of this more closer to 8 inches than 9. This means that the rebounds of this are significantly faster for me, which means I don't have to spend as much energy to make it go fast. But that also comes with the downside of I need to be more mindful about my accuracy of it. Otherwise, I'll miss it or it'll just veer out of control. Despacito. That's the one featuring the Bieber, isn't it? 1 second. Or yeah, it should be this one. Right? Wait, this is we'll do the original, right? Yeah.
Ay, Fonsi, igual. Oh, oh no, oh no. Sí, sabes que ya llevo un rato mirándote. Tengo que bailar contigo hoy. Igual. Vi que tu mirada ya estaba llamándome. Muéstrame el camino que yo voy. Oh, tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. Me voy acercando y voy armando el plan. Solo con pensarlo se acelera el pulso. Oh yeah, ya me está gustando más de lo normal. Todos mis sentidos van pidiendo más. Estoy que tomarlo sin ningún apuro. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuerpo despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Tumba las paredes de tu laberinto. Hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito. Sube, sube, sube. Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero hacer un ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos. Favorito, favorito, déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro. Hasta provocar tus gritos. Yo que olvides tu apellido. Si te pido un beso, vendámelo. Yo sé que estás pensándolo. Llevo tiempo intentándolo. Mami, esto estás gritándolo. Sabes que tu corazón conmigo te hace bam bam. Sabes que esa vela está buscando de mi bam bam. Me pruebas de mi boca para ver cómo te sabe. Quiero ver cuánto amor a ti te cabe. Yo no tengo prisa, yo me quiero dar el viaje. Empezamos lento, después salvaje. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando, poquito a poquito. Cuando tú me besas, con esa destreza. Yo quiero en malicia con delicadeza. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando, poquito a poquito. Y es que esa belleza es un rompecabezas. Pero para montarlo aquí tengo la pieza. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuerpo despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Tumba las paredes de tu laberinto. Hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito. Sube, sube. Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero hacer un ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos. Favorito, favorito, déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro. Hasta provocar tus gritos. Yo que olvides tu apellido. Despacito, vamos a hacerlo en una playa en Puerto Rico. Hasta que las olas griten ay bendito. Para que mi sello se quede contigo. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando, poquito a poquito. Esa mi boca, los lugares favoritos. Favorito, favorito. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando, poquito a poquito. Y que olvides tu apellido. Despacito.
Okay. Sorry, catching up on comments. 1 second. What's that? Question from Mister. Do you lube it, graphite, grease, and Padre de Syrinx epic? Thank you, Padre. Appreciate you a little bit. So, grease and lubrication. So, no, I don't really grease or lubricate my components. I probably should, but this blade swivel that I received from Thrasherhouse, it already came lubricated, and I've been using it for at least since I want to say January or so. I haven't had a problem with lubrication much because unlike other, I guess like ball and hooks speedback swivels, this one is fairly gentle on its components. For me, like for example, just look at how well this spins right here. Like that's a lot of air time. That's a lot of spin time actually for a swivel, and you don't hear any sound of it. Like most of the swivels in like boxing gyms are very clanky. Like there, it's almost like a very rough mechanical keyboard sound. You hear the click click a lot, and you know it squeals a lot too. But here, since the components inside it are very small, and I guess you know they've been machined to be a lot more smoother, you don't really hear a lot of that clank here. Let me just hit a little bit of this without the music here. So most other swivels, when you hit a speed bag, just like this, you're gonna hear most swivels will have like a metal shank or like a U-bolt, and you'll hear it clack or clank, you know, against the housing of the swivel itself. But here, this one is very quiet. All you're hearing is just the sound of the contact that the speed bag makes with the platform or the drum itself. Relatively quiet. For me, this is a very huge plus because this means that this is very energy efficient. The other swivels where the metal clacks a lot, that means that I'm losing some energy just because of that sound, that you know interaction right there, which means I need to hit it a lot harder for certain songs, and it also gets a little bit noisy for me, right? I'm a little bit sensitive to like, you know, those kinds of extended periods of like loud noises, especially the clicking. So honestly, for my own preference, the more quieter this part of the action of the swivel is, the better for me personally. Now, some people really like that clacky sound. Some people like more of just hearing the impact of the speed bag on the drum, and I would say I'm in the latter camp. But you know, everyone has their own personal preference. Have you done Ezios family or disposal unit from Gabriel? I have not, but I have not done those musics. Question from Gabriel. You must be super strong. I'd say I'm average or below average. I mean, I look big, but really this is, you know, a lot of delicious food and, you know, just like, you know, just happiness, I guess. So. Question from Flying Monkey. How long have you been doing this for? I'm glad you asked that. I started this in June 16th of 2022. Today is the 14th. So in 2 days, this will be my 3rd-year anniversary with learning this style of speed bagging. So almost two days shy of 3 years. Yeah. Question from Padre the Savings. Do you box, brother, or is it just the workout? Very impressive. So I used to take just like boxing fitness classes for like a year or so, just to learn the very basics, you know, combinations, footwork, and all that. I'd still consider myself just a bit of an educated idiot when it comes to boxing. I know what it's supposed to be like, but yeah, I'm not a boxer. I do this for fun. I do this for fitness. And I also do this because this really scratches a lot of my good itches, because I used to play a lot of rhythm games back in the day, like Dance Dance Revolution at the arcades, you know, where you step on it, 4 arrows, and then the Korean version of it called Pump It Up, which is 5 arrows, or 5 panels, excuse me. 4 arrows, kind of like diagonals, and then that one square button in the middle. So love the rhythm games, but they're a little pricey to do at the arcade nowadays, and it's just better for me financially just to purchase this once and then keep going at it. Pump it up DDR. So I like both. I will say maybe they're both good. They both have their plus and minuses, but I think DDR and Pump It Up are square. I lean towards Pump It Up a little bit because I like the Korean songs more, but that's just personal preference. Question from Ninja Ash X. Have you done anime songs? Yes, I have done anime songs. I've done the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the main theme that Lisa sings. There's a couple of other anime songs that I've been asked to do, which reminds me that let me see if I can find an anime song here. One second. What is let's see. I'm looking something up. Give me a second, guys. One second. Here it is. Yes, here it is. Okay. So, just disclaimer. I haven't really practiced this one, but this is from My Hero Academia. It's the song called "You Say Run." Yeah. It's gonna be a little loud, but that's okay. Okay, so yeah, that one's definitely not ready right now, but that was a fun one to experiment around. Ninja Ash X. I want to make a D&D class based on the uses the enemy as a punching bag, but I don't know. Feel free. I'm very flattered that you guys really love the D&D references. Please do. You say Ron is good. What is the longest song you can play without getting fatigued? Absolute guess. Thank you guys. What is the longest song that I can play without getting gas? So that's a little bit of a trick question. I would say, so if I told you something like Meshuggah Bleed is my longest song that I can play without getting fatigued, that is both technically true and technically false, because months back when I uploaded my cover for Meshuggah Bleed, there are certain parts of it, just because of the length of the song, that I knew to kind of conserve my energy and play at halftime. So similarly in the song I just played right now, the You Say Run, there's some stuff where I'm doing it kind of like halftime, a little bit more relaxed articulation, right? Like it doesn't sound very loud, and it's not supposed to. And the movements here are like a little bit more gentler. This is what it would look like at normal speed. So. Right? And then this is what it would look like in double time or double that. Right? So, to answer your question, it depends on how much of each articulation I use. Usually in each song that I arrange and cover, I usually try to have a little bit of element of all three in it together, because that just makes the arrangement a little bit more easy, a little bit more interesting to listen to. But it's also a way for me to conserve stamina. The way that I shoot these videos, I like doing single take coverages. I don't cut, splice, grab bits, rearrange, and then just like put it all together in one reel. The reason why I don't like doing that is because I suck at video editing. I don't have the patience for it. And it's just like, if I have to look at a timeline again for more than 5 minutes to do it, I might crash out. So that also means I need to practice a lot more in order to get that really good one take for each one. So if there's ever a gap in between, you know, why certain songs are not coming out as often versus other ones, the difficulty level is usually a large factor in why certain songs take longer for me to upload. So yeah, longest song I can do, Sandstorm Derrida, even the 3.5 minute or the 4 minute version, and that's a pretty energetic song. I can do that, right? But I can't do that all, you know, consecutively, that very fastest speed. That's it's kind of like running a vacuum cleaner on like economy mode, like middle power, the super power where it, like, you know, it just like works very strongly, but it only lasts like 10 minutes, and then the super low power one where it'll run like a couple hours, but the vacuum power is like, you know, very low. So I kind of operate in between those different modes of power to, one, save me some juice, and two, just to make the song sound interesting. Sorry, I know that was a bit of a long answer, but I hope that answers it well. Absolute class. What should I call the D&D class? Any suggestion? I don't know, martial musician. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. The idea that I had flirted with when, you know, considering a D&D crossover was a multi-class between the monk class and, you know, because of the unhanded stuff, unarmed combat, and then of course the bard, because, you know, very skilled in music, you know, buffing the party and stuff. So it just seemed like a very natural fit for me. Other people have suggested that, you know, like a bard and a barbarian, which is also quite another valid class combination because you get the ferocity of the barbarian, but then you also get the finesse of the bard. So it's those combinations are really good. And the reason why I don't produce a head canon of what I am officially is because I feel that'll restrict the creative juices of people who, stumble upon me and are inspired to create a D&D character based off of it. This gives you kind of guys a more open template to work with. I just consider that a better courtesy. So, have you ever played drums from Flying Monkey? If you say by hitting drums, like I've actually picked up drumsticks and hit a drum, yes. Have I actually studied it? No, I have not. Awesome explanation, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I did dabble in piano. I did dabble in a bit of violin, so I do have a musical, at least a basic musical background for how, rhythm is supposed to happen, time signatures, keys. But good thing about this, you don't have to worry about pitch because it's a non-pitched instrument, right? So, let's see. What is another song I've like to do? Yeah. We mentioned Pump It Up. There's this one song I really like on Pump It Up. I'm gonna play for you. It's called Doubt by Tashani. So.
Prime time shine. Better hear me one more time.
That's one of my favorite songs from Pump It Up, the arcade game. Funky Slap Buddy Speedbag over. Yeah. Yeah, I do miss the song selection on Pump It Up and DDR. I do try to do some of those songs in my uploads, but yeah, it's just there's there's too many songs to pick from. How can I hold all these songs, right? You know. And the trick is, well, I guess the fact of the matter is like there's so many songs that I like to play, but then I have to be a little bit more. If you end up practicing like 20 songs all at once, is not a very efficient practice. So what I do is like I have a playlist of songs, listen to them all in season, right? But then I usually just like hand pick like a few of those to really iron down and work out because most of my homework on it consists of me listening to the song and understanding the general vibe, the feel of it, where the instrumentals are a little stronger, where they're a little weaker, the tone of, just like how it flows and where I'm supposed to fit into that as a puzzle piece. And then the rest is, just me sweating in the way in the garage, recording, takes upon takes, it's not uncommon that I finish a practice session and then, my phone has like 30, 40, reels or like, video footages that I got discarded because they're all bad. Or at least, I mean, they weren't all terrible, but they were just not up to my required level for uploading. So, some days I have a good wind, record several things, in one go, and it's great. Other days I just got to put the homework in and like really work through some of the problem areas. Kind of like a deep tissue massage, except this, So it takes time. It takes time. Do you pick songs based off if you think they're gonna get views or rather what you like? So a little bit of both, I guess. A little bit of both. So I guess that's the thing too. Like it's a hard line for me to balance because on the one hand, I do want to spread my art, right? And it would help if I took a very well-known song that people already have a good vibe and feel for, and then just put another flavor onto it. But there are some songs that I'm very fond of, but unfortunately they just don't have a very high view count, but they're very important to me in both just like how the nostalgic value as far as my own, experience with music as a whole from when I was growing up. So it's a mix of both. In an ideal world, I upload a video regardless of what type of popularity it is, and the right people, the right crowd would find it, enjoy it, love it. But I do feel that sometimes my videos are suppressed, and if I was to be completely objective at it, it's probably because I don't make thumbnails. I don't have the patience for that, and there's probably some other video title, just things that I can do to better match the current temperature and diction of the YouTube system, but I can't be bothered with it right now. I'd rather focus all in on just the general quality and skill improvement of this, then I can focus more on the other tiddly bits. Well, I say tiddly, they're probably important to the algorithm, but for me, not so much. Yeah. Question from Chance Jones. I'm curious how you do cover a Wings dopamine beatbox song. I'll tell you what, Chance. Give me a second to upload that. Wings dopamine. 1 second. For
information neurotransmitter, dopamine. Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it.
Okay, this guy is insane though. Okay. All right. So I figured it'd be easier for me to hit to it blind first and then kind of explain my thought process behind it. Okay. Because when I'm hitting to a song, there's a lot of unconscious thoughts that I'm thinking of and decisions that I'm making in regarding to the song that dictates what type of pattern, what type of intensity I hit to. So at the very beginning, I was struggling a little bit because I didn't really hear when the drop would be. He did a lot of more like ambient stuff, so I was just like trying to find when's he starting the song, right? But you know, once the song kicks in, I usually start the process off with just the very basics, like every beat you hear, like dun, 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 just timing it with just a basic punch here, right? That's the basic bread and butter. Basic bread and butter, right? Then I need to figure out how to slice it and to make it double time like this. Then arrangement. There are certain sections I really admired about that portion is that there are sections where the energy changed and you can feel him pull back a little bit. So that's why I used a little bit more of a laid back beat, like. So here, especially on those triple beats, like tan, 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 you can feel me actually taking like a bit of a breath on those, so that way the listener can go, oh, he's taking a bit of a breath here. So I wanted to mimic and emulate that for his part. And then as far as the energy going a lot softer, so this is a little bit of an alternate technique. I like to do spins a lot to kind of cut the energy entirely, or like these little twirls, just to provide something that's a little bit visually attractive but also does not have any sound associated with it. Sorry, catching up on questions. Here's how you do a cover. Yes, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Now, I kind of did that song blind, so obviously there was a lot of rough spots. And of course, there are some spots where I misinterpreted the intent of the song with my actual execution of the Speedbag. Those are the parts that I have to work pretty hard to kind of realign and make sure it's more palatable, and that's a decision you need to make case by case. they don't always have to match one for one. Sometimes I do a little bit discrepancy between the both just to provide a little bit more tension and excitement. But other times there are some times where I'm just like writing both one for one, so that way it matches the overall the flow. You know, just staying in the pocket. That's a musician term, right? So case by case decisions. I think beatboxers and rhythm gamers and musicians will really like this because I'm gonna look stupid, but I'm just gonna do it. So another thing that I do when I listen to a song, before I even go to the Speedbag and hit on it, I would actually just like mimic, or I would audiate the rhythm of what I would play or feel like I would play on a song. So let me show this. Let's start from here.
The brain's motivation neurotransmitter, dopamine.
Okay, so that song, I'm gonna cut volume there. So this is the rhythm that I'm hearing for the most part when I hear that type of song. Tan 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 tan. And then it's a matter of reproducing that on the Speedbag. Okay. And that's also why I listen to songs a lot before I actually go under the platform and drill it out, because I need to understand where I fit in rhythmically on this. Otherwise, it can be very unproductive for me to go under the bag, hit to the song. I mean, I've gotten a lot better at it, so I have a better intuition on how things are supposed to fit. But if I really wanted to do it properly, I would make sure to listen to the song a lot, and then, you know, kind of form a general idea of where I want to go with this. Which sections do I want to hit in this manner, and so forth. Goodness, I know this was a bit of a lore drop, a little bit of a rant. Well, not a rant, but just more of a knowledge drop. But I'm very passionate about spreading the knowledge of this. So yeah, just if you, I hope you guys appreciate this. Hello, Chris Torre. Chance Jones, if I'm not mistaken, he was the winner of the World Beatbox Championship. I would believe you. His articulations are really clean, and the voicings that he do for like not only his vocals but like the different types of instruments. Like, I'm not a beatboxer, but I don't hear any like, you know, sudden breaths. Like his breath control is immaculate. Right? It's been very insightful. Thank you, Chance. Chris Torrey. Let's do another song here. This is another good one. Playing God by Polyphia. I've done this before. I'll revisit it though. that was a fun one. I remember when I was recording and then finally uploading the cover for that, I was scratching my brain on how to do the choreography for that. I really love the whistle part at the end, and frankly, I messed up so many takes at the very end when all the speedbag, all the hard stuff was done, and then I was out of tune for whistling for quite a few of those takes. I was so mad at myself, but it panned together. It was good. It was good. I think some of the techniques he used may have had a root in Mongolian throat singing. That makes sense. Sorry, that was about the beatboxing comment. Yeah, the breath control is really nice there. Also, for those of you guys that are still watching, if you have any other requests, feel free to shout them out, type them out. I'm still, going through songs that, I'm just been on my playlist, just practicing and stuff. But if you guys have any more, just feel free to jot them down, and I'll see what I can do. Let me see here. Let's see. So there's this songwriter and music maker that I've been listening to a lot. Her name is Moni, or her VTuber name is Moni Bagel. She makes good music with her team called Asteroid Music. So just plugging them a little bit. They've made a lot of good music, and this happens to be one of her songs that she released this year. This one is called Breathe For You. Reading comments, let's see. Chance, I see how finding the rhythm for Polyphia would be difficult. Yeah, there's so many musical changes that Tim and the rest of the members make on it. It makes for fun stuff though, because there's always something challenging to do for each section. Fish. Gabrielle Bozinga, Disposal Unit by Jesper KYD. Okay, I'll give that a shot. KLX, hello bro. How's it going? Disposal Unit. Jesper. KYD. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Delightful. It might be difficult. So I think it was a little tricky for me to figure out where it was in the beginning, but I guess for the good part, the song rhythm is mostly consistent throughout. So once I got the hang of it, I felt like it was manageable. Yeah, yeah. Live and Learn Crush 40 song from an older Sonic the Hedgehog. All right, Live. Let's see. Live and Learn from Crush 40, huh? That's why. That's fine. That's better. Yeah, very rock feel to that one. Nice, nice. Yeah. Live and learn. Question from Buster Luckenshaw. Sup, dude? Who is your favorite bagger besides the King Alan Khan? Who's my favorite bagger? Dang, that is a tough question. Besides Alan Khan. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. It's tough for me to say I have a favorite bagger besides Alan Khan, but I do have a couple of recommendations for people who I've watched their footage to better, understand some certain techniques. So Speedbag Thrasher, he's the gentleman who manufactures these swivels and also sells these speedbags. He also has a very useful playlist on YouTube called How to Speedbag the Easy Way. That's also another resource that I use when learning how to do this style of speedbagging. Also a very wholesome guy, very helpful. I like him a lot. He's very fluid with his movements. Another person that I really like, most of these speedbag guys will be on Instagram. So the user IDs that I'm, names that I'm shouting out, I highly recommend you check them out on Instagram. It's much, that's where most of the speedbag stuff is at. Next person I'll mention is called Darian Coach. He's very good with like the subtle movements, such as doing around the worlds, which looks like. That is just a fantastic bagger. Yeah, but Darian Coach, or Kevin, he's very good at these types of like very subtle hits. DP Speedbag too. He's very intricate with his spins and just his general control of the Speedbag. I learned a lot about spins just from watching him. Speedbag Skunk is also a fairly regular name, and deservedly so too, because he's extremely fast. He's very polished. And then, of course, there will probably be some old footages of Speedbag Ataraxis or Matthew Santiago. Years ago, he did a Speedbag punch drumming cover to Memory Lane by Netsky, and that went viral. Yeah, he's really good. He's one of the videos that I studied a lot to kind of see where I needed to get to. Answer your questions, yeah. Alan Khan is incredible, no doubt. Yeah, Alan Khan is the king for a reason. Buster Love, Matthew Santiago was my first favorite. Yeah, and I think he took punch drumming to a whole nother level too when he first came out, because I was really impressed by not only how fast he was going, but how easily he was making the transitions between techniques. It was like almost watching water flow. It was mind breaking. No, there's this one guy where I live called Raymond McManus. I haven't seen him, but I'll be sure to take a peek afterwards when I got some time. So, yeah. There's a lot of good baggers, and I'd like to say too, if you guys have time, the Speedbag community is actually meeting twice this year. Once in East Coast next month, in mid-July, the weekend, I think the 18-19 weekend, and then once in the West Coast in September this year. So if you guys ever have, the time and resources to head on out, you can just look it up on Google. It's called Speedbag Gathering. There's a very helpful video that Tim Platt put out. If you ever wanted to learn how to speedbag this way, or just meet the community who comprises this, I highly recommend you go and check it out. I went last year. It was a good time. I met with a lot of bros and people who were very passionate about this, and it was good having to meet the community in person. Highly would recommend. And I don't really care about skill level, and neither does anyone else. There's no ego in it. You just come in, everyone's happy to learn, everyone's happy to teach, and just share tips and tricks and stories about their life. So just come and gel, come and vibe, and learn something too. It's also a really good time to try out all the different types of speedbag equipment, because there's different manufacturers, there's Balaz, Tidal, Everlast. I'm missing a few others. There's this one other Mexican style speedback, but anyways, name forgets me. Ray Clados, that's the one. And then of course different types of swivel, but the most common ones that I think you'll probably see at this year's gatherings, both from East and West Coast, are going to be Thrasherhouse ones because they're just top of the line. So, I have subscribed. Thanks. Please shout out Raven. He'll love it. Michael Valle, Killer Fighter and Bag. Yeah, I'll have to check him out later. So, yeah. So, very passionate community. Please do come check us out in person if you can. Speedbag Gathering, East Coast and West Coast, July and September. I think I have enough time just to do one more song tonight and then I'll have to close. So let me go ahead and pick here. Let's see. Yeah, so this will be the last song of the night. Here we go.
You're a monster.
I can swallow up, bottle up, alcohol it up, feel like Godzilla. Better hit the deck like the cartilla. My whole squad's in here walking around the party, a cross between the zombie apocalypse and Mibania. Brain which is probably the same reason I wrestle with maniacs and these in bitch I'm posse up. Consider it to cost me a costly mistake if they sleeping on me. I'm gonna get insomnia, ADHD, hydroxy, that's the prophecy. In the when they came, they lace and said it like a play date, but if they can't retreat, like a they can't make it. This beat is cray cray, Ray J, H-A-H-A-H-A. Let's get all the way to the bank, I spray flames and I take my play cake the monster.
You get in my way, I'ma feed you to the monster. I'm normal during the day, but at night you do a monster. When the moon shines like ice for a trucker, I look like a villain at it on a blockbuster. Got to the size, man, a monster. Blood on the dance floor, a Louis V carpet. Fire, got to the fire, monster. Blood on the dance floor, a Louis V.
I'm just a product of the cricket artist who lit the balls, had him just appalled. It's only things that piss them off. It's impossible to miss them all. In the midst of all this, I'm in a mental hospital with a pistol ball. Cause he lost theory like this tomorrow. Pistol ball versus pistol ball. Pistol ball against the wall, pistol drawn. This is just a song that goes this big on. You just pull a pistol on the guy with a missile launcher. I'm just a lock, this a mythological weakness. Till the bitch you walk like a fit the vodka when you twist the top of the bottle. I'm a monster.
You get in my way, I'ma feed you to the monster. I'm normal during the day, but at night you do a monster. When the moon shines like ice for a trucker, I look like a villain at it on a blockbuster. Got to the size, man, a monster. Blood on the dance floor, a Louis V carpet. Fire, got to the fire, monster. Blood on the dance floor, a Louis V.
If you never gave a damn, raise your hand, cause I'm about to set a trend. Vacation plans, one boy like my index says. So all you ever get is some motherfucking finger. My statements there, I can't have all these fans that will smile like a liar's pants. I'm on fire, and I got no plans to retire. And I'm still the man you admire. These chicks are spazzing out, I only get more handsome and flyer. I got them passing out like what you do when you hand someone flyers. Who goes around just like the blades on the chainsaw. Strike off the flag with my collar, snap right off the bat like a baseball. Like kidding, bitch, I got them racks with so much keys that they call me Diddy. Cause I make bands and I call getting keys a cakewalk. Yeah, bitch, I'm a player. I'm too motherfucking stingy for share. Won't even lend you a beer, ain't even pretending to care. Not till a bitch I'm married, it's Shavarian. Face of my genital area, the original Richard Ramirez, Christian Rivera. To my lips never sit well, so they wanna give me the chance. Like a paraplegic and it's scary, call it Harry Carry. Cause every time a nigga Harry Carry and marrying motherfucking dictionary, I'm swearing up and down, niggas spit this shit's hilarious. It's time to put these bitches in the obituary column. You can see I with a staring column, get the shot like a staring column. Trigger happy, pack, keep us black, and you half of the bad beats. Equal that means take a back seat, take it back to fat beats with a maxi single. Look at my rap sheet with a track these people. This vibe gangsta bitch like a bad cheat with a catchy jiggle. I sack you really gotta have it keep.
that'll be one to record. Just that last minute section just wipes me out. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Really happy to see you guys drop in. Thank you for your kind comments, your questions. I hope this has been a wonderful experience for you all. Enjoy your weekend, and take care. Thank you.